Hello all of you beautiful people, welcome back to another video, and today I'm revisiting a video idea I did about 2 years ago. Pretty much I'm going to be ranking every single Fortnite season. Last time I did this it was with Brock, and it was both of our opinions, so if Brock thought it was a good season and I thought it was a bad season, it would go like in the middle of our opinions. And as well as this, I also tried taking into account what other people thought and like community stuff, and this time, it's just my opinion. If everyone thought season sucked, I don't care. I'm going to be ranking it where I want it to be. The reason why I'm doing this is because last time I did it, we were in Chapter 2, Season 3. Now we're in Chapter 3, Season 3. So it's been a whole chapter. Sit back, relax, enjoy. It's probably going to be quite a long one, so grab your snacks. Yeah, so I'm going to be ranking each season based off overall gameplay changes, Battle Pass, loot pool, map, seasonal events, so like Halloween, Christmas, all of that, crossovers and events, and build up to the next seasons. I'll also take into account the time period these were in, because obviously older Fortnite, like, things didn't work the same, you know. I guess is the best way of doing it. They weren't as grand about it. So starting off with season 1, the big overall gameplay change is the fact that the gameplay was introduced. Oh my god. So we have Battle Royale released, you know. This was September 12th, 2017, which is when the public testing started, so I think it's like a week or two before it actually came back. Now we have the pre-season as well, because there's like 2 weeks where there wasn't a Fortnite season, pretty much, and then Season 1 started. I'm just grouping that in with Season 1 because nothing really changed. But yeah, you know, we have this new building mechanic that most people didn't really use very much because everyone was bad at it, and no other Battle Royale has really ever seen before. So that was an interesting one. Instead of the Battle Pass, there was no Battle Pass. We had the Season Shop. Pretty much, instead of leveling up and unlocking your items, you would level up your XP. Once you got your XP level, you would have the option to buy that cosmetic if you wanted to. The main things here were obviously the Renegade Raider and the Aerial Assault Trooper. Not the best skins, they're kind of boring and not very good, but they are very iconic skins for being old. And the loot pool was really basic. You had, you know, the AR, the burst AR, attack, pump, which you could still double pump at this point, and the pump was very overpowered. Grenade launchers, RPGs, bandages, medkits, big pots. No mini shields yet. You had the OG trap, so the spike trap was a floor trap, and then you had like the weird electric ones that went on the walls and the ceiling, and of course you had grenades. The map was fairly empty, no tilted towers, and most POIs were on the right side of the map. So yeah, the left, you wouldn't really land on the left, maybe for Pleasant, but there wasn't much else over there. Seasonal event, we had the first ever Fortnitemares taking place in October. Not much happened there, because I think the main focus at this point was still probably Save the World, so all the stuff would have been happening over there. Battle Royale was literally just a quick test. Apparently they threw together the map in like 2 weeks. But yeah, the main thing in Fortnitemares was the item shop was introduced with the Skull Trooper and the Ghoul Trooper, and we got the pumpkin launcher. And that was Fortnitemares 2017, everybody. There was no crossovers, obviously, and there was no build up to the next season, no build up to any live events, because there weren't any live events. As you can see, we have God, which is gold, pretty good purple, mid blue, not great green, and then awful is grey. I'd say this one, I would put it like in one of these two, but it was the start of everything. It's gonna have to go in pretty good, because without it we probably wouldn't have Fortnite. Skipping over to Season 2, which started December 14th, 2017, we had no real crazy changes to gameplay. Fortnite's still Fortnite, people are still figuring out how to build, and it's going very well for Epic Games. But we got the Battle Pass this time, however it capped at tier 70, with of course the Black Knight being at the top, other iconic skins being Sparkle Specialist, and also the Floss. Everybody loves a Floss. The loot pool, main things that have been updated was the mini shield being added, boogie bombs, which were really OP. I think they lasted 10 seconds, and even if you got shot, you'd still be dancing. So, you know, very, very OP. Chug Jug, minigun, campfire, and the Valentine's Day crossbow. There's impulse grenades, and vaulted the OG SMG, if anybody remembers that. It was the really bad SMG that nobody really liked. The map, at the start there was nothing, but I think there was like a big map update midway through the season. Huge changes included tilted towers being the main one, and more POIs on the left side of the map. Yeah, more balanced map. If you land on the left, you actually get some other POIs. Seasonal events, we got the Christmas event. Not much with this one, just a few Christmas skins in the shop, such as Codename Elf gingerbread skins, as well as the snowball launcher being added, and, you know, Christmas trees appearing at some POIs for, you know, free chests. 3 chests around each Christmas tree, and there were pretty much one in every POI. We also had Valentine's coming up right at the end of it, where we got the crossbow. We all know the crossbow, it sucks. Of course, no crossovers this season, we never really got to that. Now, when it comes to crossovers, I'm talking about main ones, because obviously some seasons much later on had a lot of crossovers. Like, a lot of crossovers. I'm looking at you, Season 5 of Chapter 2. I'll be talking about the main ones, because obviously there's a bunch of little ones, but the main ones that are really intertwined with the season are the ones I'll be talking about. Same with Loot Pool. Lots of things change, get vaulted and unvaulted, but I'm mainly talking about new stuff that really made a difference. Obviously there was no events and no build up to the next season, because there was no real storyline or anything. But something of note is we got the start of LTMs like Solid Gold and 50v50. Some bangers, I'm not gonna lie. If this is pretty good, this has also got to be pretty good. I do want to note, I only started playing in Chapter 1 Season 4 during the last 2 weeks, so these first 3 seasons I'm kind of basing off videos I've seen, pretty much, because I didn't play during that time. And also based off the research, which by the way took me about 3 hours to look through all of the patch notes in Fortnite history and get all of the things I needed, so, you know. Moving on to Season 3, which started February 22nd, 2018. The main gameplay change we got this season was vending machines. Not like the vending machines you see during Chapter 3 where you spend gold or anything. You had to use your materials. You pickaxe it to switch your things, use your materials, and get the weapon you need. Obviously, the higher rarity, the more materials you needed. The Battle Pass finally has 100 tiers. Rejoice! We got Dark Voyager, which apparently was meant to be the original tier 100, although they did some swapping around at the end, which made the Reaper skin, also known as the OG John Wick, be tier 100. Not real John Wick, but it was John Wick. Everybody was scared of a John Wick back in the day. With the introduction of the Season 3 Battle Pass, we also got introduced to contrails and backblings, so more cosmetics, always pog. The main things that were added was the hunting rifle. I know a lot of trick shotters really like the hunting rifle. I'm not the biggest fan. C4, I'm pretty sure it's quite overpowered at this point. It did like a lot of range. And guided missile, a classic. I really want that to come back. It's not even that it's been vaulted. It's literally deleted out the files. It doesn't exist in Fortnite. I would love the guided missile to come back. We got the Portafort and Clingers and the original LMG. Something about Portafort, just classic Fortnite item. Clingers were an interesting one back in the day. If you threw 2 on a ramp and the bottom one exploded, the one at the top would, as soon as it detached from the ramp, would explode and made them say, like, if you placed them strategically, you could easily get people tagged with them for like 60 damage or whatever it was. I know it's 60 now, I don't know if it's changed. The map was a very boring change, I'm not gonna lie. We got Lucky Landing. Nobody really went Lucky Landing. Seasonal events, something else I wanted to mention here. There are smaller seasonal events that happen throughout pretty much every season, but I'm only talking about the bigger ones just because they're the only ones really worth talking about. This one we got Lunar New Year, so we got the little Chinese New Year outposts around the map, skins in the item shop, and then Lucky Landing. And talk about the outposts, they all had chests similar to the Christmas trees. Then yeah, we got Lucky Landing. As well as that, we got our first set of St. Patrick's Day. As well as that, we got our first set of St. Patrick's Day. As well as that, we got our first set of St. Patrick's Day skins. So that's very cool. No crossovers. And the build up to next season, this is where we started kind of getting our first hint at a storyline. There's a little meteor appeared in the sky, and then they all started seeing like chunks of it drop down to the map, destroying builds, and it was very interesting having a build up. The whole internet was talking about it. Oh, his tilted tower's gonna get destroyed, oh my god. And that's where we go to Season 4, May 1st, 2018. No crazy overall gameplay changes, but this season... Oh, I forgot to rank Season 3. I'm gonna have to do it. If this is here... I know this is gonna be... I don't think there's gonna be any in the awful tier, but I'm saying these 3 deserve to be up where they are, in my opinion. Like, this is OG Fortnite, these are the classics, and... yeah. Anyway, back onto Season 4, we have the Battle Pass, Carbide and Omega, the first ever upgradable skins. Skins with styles. Very, very poggers. Really like that. We've got sprays, which is just more filler. Yeah, it's new, but it is more filler. The first ever secret skin being the Visitor. Elite skin. I wish I knew how the Battle Pass worked in Chapter 1, Season 4 when I first started playing, because I bought it for Orange Justice, got to tier 44, and then the season ended, because I didn't know how the Battle Pass worked. I just bought it knowing Orange Justice was in it, which also, banger remote, never left my remote wheel. Elite. Also the starter pack that season, because last season for this one we had the little... In Season 3, what was the starter pack? It was like the Master Chief looking guy, I forgot his name, but then in Season 4 we got Wingman. The first ever skin, banger skin. Love Season 4. Main changes to the loot pool, we got an epic and legendary burst. Mid, honestly. Bounce pads, very cool. Shopping carts, very cool. First ever vehicle in the game, kind of. I mean, it's technically considered a vehicle, it's not really, it's a shopping trolley. Jetpacks, which were actually delayed from the previous season, apparently. The thermal scope they are, which sucked. It's the bad gun. Stink bombs, good item. Dual pistols. They're fun to use, but I don't think they're that great. And the drum gun. You thought Midas's mythic drum gun was bad. Now imagine everybody having one of those, because that's essentially what it was. The drum gun was not a light gun during the day. It was overpowered as hell. People will talk about OG Scar being overpowered. This is nothing. That is nothing compared to the drum gun. The drum gun was OP, but so fun. Really good gun. The map changes being Dusty Depot. However, I'm pretty sure there was an interview with Donald Mustard. If I can find it, I'll play it now. But essentially what it was is that the meteor was actually originally going to hit Tilted Towers. However, everybody had figured it out so quickly that they just chucked it in Dusty instead to throw everyone off. And also, Tilted becoming this massive iconic POI in Fortnite. That it was going to hit Tilted and everyone was right. And they just chucked it in Dusty just to throw everyone off. Fun fact. As well as that, we got Risky Reels and a few other meteor hits. We did get the little one in Tilted. The main one, Risky Reels. The main thing about this POI is cool POI TV cinema screen, but then week 7 comes along. They've dropped the Visitor, and there is a quest to search 7 chests in Risky Reels. I don't even think there were 7 chests in Risky Reels, and then you had 60 players all landing there. It was the most insane quest I think Epic have ever done, and I think they learned from it because there's not been anything quite like that since. It was insanity. Risky Reels is just so iconic for that. Seasonal events, we got July 4th, which had a firework grenade launcher. I bet everybody forgot about that because I sure don't remember it. It was in for 2 weeks. It didn't really look different in your hands or in your inventory, and the only thing that really changed is the grenade was a bit more sparky, and it's not been back since for any other July 4th. But it happened, I thought it was worth a mention. Crossovers. The first big major crossover with Infinity War and the Infinity War limited time mode with Thanos. You could play as Thanos, just obliterate everybody. It was insane. This, I wish I played the original one. It came back in Chapter 1, Season 8. But just having Thanos in a solo game is something that'll never be the same. And I wish they did it with the Endgame collab as well. It was so good. Now, for the build-up for the event was nothing too major. It's pretty basic compared to today. But it was the TVs had a little warning sign on them, and also the timer in the villain's base. Classic stuff. And then the event itself was a good event, don't get me wrong, but obviously compared to today's standards, but it was the first ever live event. Nothing's ever been like it. It didn't even have its own playlist, so there was some guy that just got I think it was 40 kills just by breaking a ramp where everybody was standing on it. It was something the whole community came together. It was insanity. Seeing people react to this. I didn't play Fortnite at the time. This was literally just before I started playing it, and people were talking about it so much. It was incredible. The build up to the next season, however, it wasn't done there. The big rift that was left behind in the sky started growing bigger, and different little things in POIs were disappearing, such as the tomato head, Durburger, and the nom sign in Retail Row. And other things were appearing, like an anchor at the bottom of the hill, and a few other things. it was like worlds coming together, hence the name of Season 5 being Worlds Collide. A few extra things just worth mentioning was Hop Rocks. Everybody likes Hop Rocks, just good movement, very poggers. And we also got Playground at the end of the season, which was the start of something really special for content creators, which happened more in Season 5, which I will be talking about. But Season 4, straight up God season. I don't think we're... Like, this is one of the best ever Fortnite seasons. I hear so many people talk so positively about this, and I see why. It's such a good season. Definitely deserve to be in the God season. Actually, you know what? We'll do from left to right, so left is better than right, and I think we'll go like that for those. So there we go. Chapter 1, Season 5, July 12th, 2018. The main gameplay change this season was the introduction of rifts. Essentially just a bunch more free movement, as well as the ATK. Again, a lot more free movement. I love the ATK. The Battle Pass, I think this is probably one of the best Battle Passes we've ever. Like, Season 4 was good, but I really like Season 5. Drift, literally like top 2 skin for me. Ragnarok, again, probably like a top 10 skin for me. I love them both so much. And we got toys, which are cool, but also kind of more Battle Pass filler. But hey, toys are cooler than a spray or an emoticon. The loot pool. People don't like this season very much because not only did we get introduced to the current SMG, just a regular SMG, but we got the P90. You thought Midas's drum gun, I'm bringing this back up again, you thought Midas's drum gun and Brutus minigun was bad? Day 1 P90 was nothing. You think the Stinger SMG is bad now, or the Combat SMG? The P90 was so incredibly overpowered, it was insane. It would melt builds, it would melt players, and I remember seeing clips on Reddit where people were literally comparing it to Thanos' laser, and it did more damage quicker with more range. It was insane. This SMG was more OP than Thanos. And the opposite side of that, not only was double pump removed, so people were using shotguns less, but we also got the double barrel. Like, no one cares about the double barrel shotgun. People do, but I think it sucks, alright? I hate the double barrel. So shotguns were literally pre-obsolete this season, because they got nerfed and they also got rid of double pump. So, big yike. Heavy sniper. Everybody likes heavy sniper. I'm not the biggest fan of being pinged for 150 for like 400 meters away, and like I've had 2 minis, I should be able to live from one shot. The Rift to Go, very poggers item. Shockwaves, the Grappler sick item, love the Grappler. Suppressed AR is okay. Drum gun vaulted, but we have the P90s now anyway, so what difference does it make? Port Fortress, just the Port Fort but bigger. And of course the ATK, which they did bring back at the end of Chapter 2, Season 8. I think it was an accident. They were only meant to bring back the shopping carts. I only saw one once, and I didn't even get to drive it. It was somebody else driving it in like a top 2. Map changes this season I really liked. Loved Lazy Lakes, loved the desert with Paradise Palms, as well as the Gus racetrack, and also Westworld, or I think Laserbeam called it Armadillo once, which I found quite funny. And Tomato Temple also being added in later on, which was a downgrade from Tomato Town, but at the same time Tomato Town wasn't particularly great to begin with. Seasonal events, now I do want to mention, we did get summer this season, however there wasn't really a summer event like we get now, so that's an interesting one. But we did get the first birthday event, introducing cakes all over the island that you could eat and dance at to get free rewards, which I'm pretty sure was the first time we had an event with free rewards in it, if I'm not mistaken. So you love the birthday event, and the birthday battle bus, always so nostalgic every time. Love to see it. No major crossovers, and we did have the build up to the event. This was a hard one, because the whole thing was an event building up to the next event, kind of. So we had the rift in the sky started shrinking and fizzling out, and then struck lightning on all the cacti on the hill before creating Kevin the Cube. So that was building up to the event, which was creating Kevin the Cube. But then Kevin the Cube was rolling around, which was then making anti-gravity zones, which was all building up for him to roll into Loot Lake and making the Purple Lake, Bouncy Loot Lake, Thanos Lake, Lean Lake, whatever you want to call it. Like I just mentioned, the event was Kevin spawning, on my notes it says Kevin spawns, Kevin rolls, Kevin creates anti-gravity area, and Kevin rolls into Loot Lake. And then The build up to next season was Bouncy Loot Lake, and with the main theories at the time was, is there going to be a volcano? All the streams was like, the volcano happening right now. Think Kraken event, but volcano event. This was like the Kraken event before the Kraken event. Everyone's going about a volcano. So, yeah. Extra notes I have is just playground. For content creator side of things, this was really good. You could do all these custom modes that were just not before possible. But that did also lead to an increase in skill gap, where people would be playing the game casually, only hopping on and just playing a game of Battle Royale or two. And then you had the people who would be 1v1 build fighting in Playground. This was the start of build fights. Yeah. Overall, this has got to go God Season. I love Season 5. It's my first ever tier 100, and it's when I think of when I first started playing Fortnite. Although I started in Season 4, I think a lot about Season 5. I love Season 5 so much. Like a lot. But onto Season 6, September 27th, 2018. Something I do want to point out with this one is we had a Halloween themed season. Halloween takes place in a few seasons, but we've never had a whole season themed around it, and I really, really want them to do it. I'm really hoping for it next season. Halloween themed season could go hard like nowadays. This was such a good season. I'll get into it in a minute, but I would love a full Halloween themed season in Chapter 3. The main gameplay change was the shadow stones, where you could like pick them up, you turn into a ghost, you can phase through buildings, you're invisible. And there was also a lot of invisibility glitches, where you could stay invisible and still be able to shoot your gun and kill people. It was insanely broken. Battle Pass, like I said, Halloween themed, which I think is sick. We had like vampires and werewolves and vampire slayers. Little Red Riding, Halloween themed Battle Pass, so good. Under my Battle Pass notes, I've written Jiggle Physics LeMayo. So Calamity had physics where there shouldn't have been physics. They said Epic Games came out saying it was a mistake. That was not a mistake. Whichever Epic employee did that, they did not do that by accident. We all know that. How would that happen? We had Dire as the tier 100 skin, which at the time people saw as being quite underwhelming, although I do have a preset in rotation for Dire. I do quite like Dire. The loot pool was an interesting one. We got the Quad Crasher, the Quad Launcher, the old version of balloons, so you had to do 5 of them to fly, but you couldn't have a gun or anything, you held them in your hand. The Heavy AR, which was purple and gold, I believe at the time, or blue, purple, gold. Mounted turret, which was insanely broken. You couldn't hit, like, if somebody was shooting you face on, you couldn't hit them because it would just block your head and stuff. It was insane. Dynamite, not that great. It's kind of grenades, but that's the thing I don't understand. Grenades are grey and dynamite is green, but grenades are way better than dynamite. 6-shooter, pretty crap. The epic and legendary pump added this season, and the Fiend Hunter crossbow for Fortnite, which I'll come back to in a minute. The map changes, although being really, really cool, weren't much of them. We had loot lakes, like middle island, stop floating. The floating island was something else. I love the floating island. And we also had the corrupt areas around the map, and something I have mentioned, which I do see people forget about a lot, is the bunker under Wailing Woods, where you had like the portal that went to all the other cabins. That was really cool, and they had the rift that wouldn't disappear after use. Very underrated. That actually made Wailing Woods a very good POI in my opinion. The main seasonal event this season, obviously Fortnite, Halloween time. Now this was a really good Fortnite, probably one of my favourites. Near Halloween I'm going to do a tier list on every Fortnite. But quick rundown was, we had a trailer where Kevin explodes, the floating island is all in pieces, and there are now big cube rooms all over the map creating husks. Obviously free rewards and the return of OG skins such as Skull Trooper and Ghoul Trooper. People were freaking out. Oh no, Ghoul Trooper didn't come back yet, did it? Oh well, yeah. But people were freaking out about Skull Trooper, and they gave an extra style because Epic Games knew that was going to happen, so we got purple Skull Trooper. Fortnite with the husks. I liked the husks. People didn't. I was still kind of like bad at the game. I was pretty much a noob still for like, I'd say up until like season 9. And I really liked the husks. People didn't like them because they would like run build fights and stuff, but I loved husks. You get loads of free loot from them, loads of ammo, shield. I liked them. And the main thing about Fortnite here is that the end of Fortnite was a live event. We went into the live event during Fortnite when it ended, Fortnite was over. That was sick. We'll get back to the live event later on. No big crossovers. Fortnite didn't really do crossovers this early on, so no surprise there. And the build up to the event was that Kevin the Cube was started like slowly cracking over the last few days of Fortnitemares and becoming unstable. For the event that happened, which Kevin the Cube exploded, we saw the Rift Butterfly for the first time. We were in the in-between, I think it's called, or at least that's what I heard people calling it. So we were the first time like teleport to another dimension, pretty much. That was insane for the time. Still one of my like top 5 favorite. I love the top 5. There's not much more than 5 events, but banger event. Love it so much. And the build up to the next season was we saw an iceberg in the distance that was slowly getting closer to the main island. Winter time was coming, you know, Christmas time happening. Very poggers. But before we get into that, season 6. I'm gonna have to rank it. Early seasons are gonna be so top heavy, but I do not care. I love old Fortnite. Nothing beats old Fortnite. It's going to maybe the top of pretty good. No, you know what? No, leaving it there. It's like top of pretty good, bottom of God, I'd say. Something else I do want to mention though is a few extra bits I have is 90s. The first time I ever heard of like cranking 90s was this season. So you know, the sweats are coming out, the TTVs, the football skins. That's all the start of this season and next season. And as well as this both season 6 and season 7 were very experimental times for Fortnite. They don't really seem to do it much. I wish they did experiment more in game, but we had 20 to 25% of explosive damage. I can't remember what the exact number would like go straight through walls. So if you were in a box and somebody launched an RPG out of that box, 20% of that damage, I think it's like 20% of the 120 that it would have been, you would have had that damage, and there was no way of blocking it. The main thing that made this a problem, again, was the quad launcher. So shooting it, pow, 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 you had 4 shots, straight at someone's box, who they were, I don't know, medding or whatever. That's 100 damage in that box, that they get hit for like 20 each. It was just completely unavoidable. You just tagged someone for 100 without even trying. That made people freak out and was removed like a week later. But something else that was also during that time was glider redeploy. Not like the item you see now where you like pick up the gliders and you have 10 times you can jump off something and deploy a glider. You could just do it. Go any ramp, jump off, deploy a glider, and you're away. The thing I really found funny about this is once that was removed in the next update, is you had so many people just forget that it was removed and just build up a ramp and jump off it and die. That was so funny. There's so many times that happened for like the next week after that. But going into season 7, which started the 6th of December 2018, we have main gameplay changes being the Infinity Blade, which was insanely overpowered. You had Siphon, you could still build with it, you could collect materials with it, and it ruined a $1 million winter skirmish, which I found so funny. This guy was just taking money off people by not even trying to just like click, swing the sword, do 75 damage, and just keep doing that over and over again. And you could easily get out of a situation of getting shot by jumping through the air. It was like having Thanos back. It was like godlike power. It was so funny. I kind of wish they kept it. I miss the chaos, and I did get chaotic items like this. This stuff gets tested more. As well as that, we have planes, which were also OP. You could easily just ram through builds. The turret was really good, although they were nerfed towards the end of the season, stopped going through builds, and I don't think they were that bad. Again, I really liked planes. I like chaos in Fortnite, as you can tell. The Battle Pass, again like this one, again like Season 6 being Halloween themed. This was like winter Christmas themed, essentially. We had, I want a Christmas themed Battle Pass and a Christmas themed season again. We haven't had them since 2018. It's been what, 4 years? Wow, it's been like nearly 4 years. That's wow. I would love to see them do it now. So what can you do these days, Epic? I bet you could up the levels so much. The main thing is Lynx. Lynx was a very, very good skin for the time. Even a pretty good skin like nowadays, I'd say Lynx is. The Ice King, which people were very disappointed in, had no upgradable style. At least with Dire, people were disappointed with it, but it still had 3 styles, whereas human, half werewolf. Where the Ice King, all it had was colour styles. That was it. I do personally like the Ice King. You can definitely tell I'm very nostalgic for. I'm not going to lie and say this isn't way by nostalgia. It is, but I think that's part of how you would look back and rank a season, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Oh, I forgot to mention, in the Season 6 Battle Pass, we got music packs. I love music packs in Fortnite. Some real bangers. And then in the Season 7 Battle Pass, we got gun wraps, which people were waiting for such a long time, so that was also a very good thing to have. Loot pool, again, Infinity Blade and Planes. Really been over that. The boombox, which was a very short-lived item. I think it's the shortest-lived item that was actually meant to be there. So I'm not counting the Zappatron and the Tracker of the Storm backbling thing, because I don't think they were meant to be there. Whereas this was, and it was removed very quickly. Same with the bottle rockets. Equally as useless and did pretty much the same thing, and nobody really cared for them very much. We had the suppressed sniper. Not really great, 95 to the body, so you can't even one-shot somebody without shield. Pretty mid. Scoped revolver, not great, don't really like that. Infantry rifle was really interesting at first. You think of the infantry rifle, a lot of people really like it now, rewards accuracy and all that, but it wasn't hit scan when it came out. You had to lead your shots like a sniper rifle, which is a weird way of doing it with like a rifle. I don't know. It sucked, nobody liked it, you may as well have used the AK instead, although once they fixed it, it was a very good gun, a lot of people used it. I was never great at it because my accuracy sucks, but everybody liked it, loved that. And the drift board, again, pretty good vehicle. I'd be okay without drift boards, but it is a very cool vehicle, especially if you're good with it, which I'm not, which is why I don't use it, because I just get shot off with it. The map had some pretty big changes. The map was actually expand, like the map was bigger this season. This is the first time they made the map bigger with the iceberg hitting. We got Happy Hamlet, Frosty Flights, and Polar Peak, which was an awkward one. If you wanted to go Polar Peak, you had to land up there. You wouldn't be able to climb up it because it was so tall. And an interesting one was the block, which was a new POI every week essentially made by people in creative, which was also introduced this season, which would further increase the skill gap. But I don't play creative. I literally don't care about creative. If there's creative challenges, I'll hop in, do them, and that's it. Don't care about creative. It's just not my cup of tea. But the block was pretty cool. However, there was a little bit of controversy in one of them. I can't remember when it was. The only time it was rotated before the week was done is when there was one, you'd walk in and there was a knocked over chair and a noose on the ceiling. There was a hanging in the block, so they quickly switched that one out before the normal time, which, fair enough, this is a kid's game. Seasonal events, of course, Christmas was, this was the 14 days of Fortnite, a free gift every single day. We got the presents item, snowman item, chiller grenades. Chiller grenades were kind of like impulses but made your feet icy. They were cool for rotation. OG Christmas skins return, apart from Codename Elf for some reason. There were no bonus OG playstyles for these ones, which was weird. I don't know why they only did that for Halloween skins. We also got the New Year live event. That's pretty cool. We all do love a New Year live event. It's the same every year now, but still love logging on and seeing it every year. And the whole map was snowy on Christmas Day. As well as this, towards the end of the season, we got Valentine's event, so we got the crossbow back. Again, nobody really cares. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Fiend Hunter in Season 6 as well. Did double damage to husks, was crap against the players. That's it, really. Yeah, so we got some new Valentine skins in the shop, and overtime challenges, which I will also come back to as well. It was like Halloween, not Halloween, there was Valentine styles for the Battle Pass skins during the overtime challenges. But I will get back to that. Crossovers, we had a big one this season. We had Marshmallow. The build up to that event, we saw a stage being built at Pleasant Park. Ooh, exciting stuff. So the Marshmallows in the item shop. They've announced an event. It's going to be a concert in Fortnite for Marshmallow. There's free rewards and, skins in the shop, which is actually the first ever Icon skin, although at the time Icon rarity didn't exist, so it's just purple, but it was technically the first ever Icon skin. As far as music goes in all of the events, that's my favourite one. Best music on them so far. And then we had the build up to the main event this season, which was the Ice Storm. TVs had weather warnings on them, which had snow symbols on them, and a timer. And the Ice King was above Polar Peak with a clock type thing going around him, and once that was done, the event started. Still no proper playlist to do the event, so you could have just straight been killed and missed it, but you wouldn't have really missed much. The Ice King breaks out of his little ice ball, makes a big projection of himself, and then the map goes snowy. That was it. It was a pretty boring event. We'd already seen the map covered in snow before, so it wasn't like because of Christmas Day, and this happened after that, so it wasn't really anything that was like, what? The husks returned, the cube fiends, but icy versions of them, which I'm happy for. I like them, but after how many people complained about them in the previous season, I was quite surprised to see them return. And then the build up to season 8, earthquakes were causing cracks all around the map, and Wailing Woods went very orange and like looked like all the grass had died around it. We knew Wailing Woods was going to leave us. That was the main things. Extra notes, Apex Legends was released this season, which leads to the free battle pass. If you completed all of your overtime challenges in season 7, you got the season 8 battle pass for free. And if you didn't spend your V-Bucks on anything in the item shop, that was free battle passes for life, because you get 1,100 V-Bucks per battle pass, and it only costs 950. So some people have probably never bought a battle pass in their life, like never bought V-Bucks in their life, but have had every battle pass in season 8, which I think is very cool. Apex Legends was released that season, which is why they did the whole free battle pass. I played Apex Legends. It sucks. It's just not a good game. I played it when it came out. And with the continuation of Season 6 being quite experimental, so was Season 7. They added Siphon to the core game modes. So essentially, farming materials was faster, but you could only cap it at 500 instead of 1,000 each. And people dropped more materials upon death. And when you killed people, you'd get 50 health or shield. Which, was pretty much competitive rules, but in casual Fortnite. Which a lot of people liked. Very controversial. I think a lot more competitive, like sweatier players liked it more because it caused people to be more aggressive. As casual players who wouldn't want to be constantly getting pushed on maybe didn't like it as much. I think I was pretty indifferent at the time. I wasn't good enough at the game to really have it bother me either way. But I'm going to say this is the top of a pretty good season. I think seasons 5, 6 and 7, although the order they're in would say differently. Seasons 5, 6 and 7 is probably my favourite time of Fortnite, and season 4, but that's when I stopped playing, so this here is the best Fortnite I think there is. Season 8 started February 28th, 2019, and the main gameplay changes here was the boom bow and ballers, especially in competitive. People just ball around the map. The reboot van and the flintlock also gets an honourable mention as a gameplay change because a lot of people used them and they were very good for rotations and did hit high damage. The battle pass again was free, which was a big thing at the time. Lux was a very underwhelming skin. It was just a person. Whoa. Peely, one of the most iconic skins of all time, and he was free, which I didn't even think about there. And Blackheart, which was apparently meant to be the tier 100 skin. Apparently Blackheart and Lux were swapped because people were complaining that there was never a female tier 100 skin, so they just swapped them so there was a female tier 100 skin. And to be fair, that makes sense because Blackheart is a sick skin, so underrated. I never see him in game. Good skin. The loot pool was cool this season. It was very themed around the whole pirate thing. So we had treasure maps, the flintlock pistol, very themed. We had the boom bow, obviously, and ballers. Ballers in competitive was weird. People said the skill, the speed people were gaining skill, how people get better at the game kind of went flat in season 8 because of ballers. Because obviously there's no fuel system at this point, people would just hop in a ball and stay in it all game, avoid every fight. Fair enough, I would do the same thing I probably did in casual games. The map was a good one. We got the jungle area, which had the volcano, sunny steps, and lazy lagoon. I really like Lazy Links, so I was kind of sad to see it go, but to be fair, Lazy Lagoon was a worthy replacement because that was also a banger POI. It also had the pirate cannons in it that you can push around. Very epic. Seasonal events, nothing special, just St. Patrick's Days. Skins come back into the shop, nothing too special really. It's probably the last time I'll be mentioning it. Crossovers, Avengers Endgame, as I mentioned in Season 4. Really, really good game mode. You could be the Avengers this time. We got skins in the shop, so you could literally buy Black Widow and Star-Lord. It was meant to be the Star-Lord outfit, so it's somebody dressed as Star-Lord and somebody dressed as Black Widow instead of being them like they do now. Being able to use the Avengers weapons as well as Thanos was so cool. Shout out Iron Man's repulsors. Aimbot also came back in Chapter 2, Season 4. And then we have the build-up to the life event. Now, there's digging up, like, different areas, which led to Loot Lake, where they had the rocks with, like, I think it was like 1 billion health or something like that, and it was being mined. So if you would mine it, it would mine for every game, and then would uncover things. So I think there was lava in the middle of Dusty, and I think there was another geyser somewhere. But then we dug up Loot Lake and found a big vault. And then we had like the floating key. Everyone forgot about this thing. It was like, I call them keys to the vault because I don't know what else to call them. There's like these weird little floaty things. You pickaxe them and then they would move and drop in. I thought it worked like the Kevin Floated Island where it only moved between games. You couldn't actually physically see it move. But then it did once and I got a game clip of it and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god. Then, of course, the volcano started getting all smoky. You could see all the smoke rising out of there. Then the event was like a 2-in-1. Very poggers. We had the unvaulting, which unvaulted the drum gun, which led it to being nerfed, which was quite unfortunate for a lot of people because I don't think it was that great after. First time I've seen the 0 point, something that I don't see people mention with this event very much. Then we leave the unvaulting zone and we see the second half of the event, which is the volcano, which destroyed iconic POIs like Tilted and Retail, which was massive news at the time. Also cracked Polar Peak, which set up directly for next season's event, which was pretty cool. The main problem with this event was it didn't work for over 40% of players. Nearly half the amount of the play base didn't see this event, which was rubbed in even more when it said, "Ha, you voted." Excuse me, no I didn't. The event broke. I was in-game, the timer ticked down to 0, nothing happened. Over 40% of players. So disappointed. But this was at the point where they were doing events in their own dedicated playlist, which happened first with the Marshmallow event. So that was all obviously a step in the right direction. And then the build-up to the next season was nothing really other than the event. I think the sky was all smoky and there was lava holes in Tilted and Retail, and it was only like that for 2 days before the event happened. The update happened. Extra notes is I tried Apex and it sucks. Very epic. But Siphon was removed. Yike. For some people. It depends who you are. I don't really care either way, like I said. Also, something I forgot to mention is reboot vans came out this season, so you could bring your dead teammates back alive. If that wasn't in Fortnite nowadays, it would be behind the competition, I'm sure. Like, there's something that's kind of standard in Battle Royales, is if your teammates are alive, you can bring them back type thing, so very cool that that's a thing. We do love reboot vans. We start Season 9 on May the 9th, 2019. There are pretty big gameplay changes here. We had slipstreams, and the pump shotgun was vaulted for the first time. People freaked about this. And we had the combat shotgun, which I'll get back to in a minute. Now, the battle pass was kind of cool. Dual pickaxes were introduced. I don't really use dual pickaxes. I usually go for the single ones now, but it was very cool at the time to see a new type of pickaxe. Bunker Jonesy is cool. Vendetta, very underrated. People don't like him very much. I think, like, especially for the time, coming off the back of Lux and the Ice King, I thought Vendetta was a massive step in the right direction, and I really liked him. And also Rox, which was like the original Loser Fruit skin. I remember people saying, oh, it looks like her, and it had like the strawberry, which kind of looked like her logo, and everyone was talking about Loser Fruit at the time. I remember that. The loot pool, again, the pump was vaulted for the combat, which everybody hated the combat at first and was really angry the pump was gone, and everyone was going, oh, bring back the pump, bring back the pump. Then after like a week, everybody realised how overpowered the combat was and stopped caring about the pump, because the combat was literally broken. The amount of damage it did at that range with that fire rate for a shotgun was pretty insane. And we got the tactical AR, the burst, which I like the tactical AR. I think it's pretty good. Burst SMG, hates it. Storm Flip, it's kind of like stink bomb in a way. Ticks for 5, no matter what a storm is, so it's not really like the storm, but it is. If you throw in the storm, it makes a safe area instead of another storm, so very good in my opinion. Proximity grenade launcher, very underrated weapon, very easy to get like 75 tags on people, very good. Not hit them 75 times and like 75 damage, obviously. Chug Splashers, everyone loves Chug Splashers. If you don't like Chug Splashers, you're weird, innit? Purple and gold revolver, don't really care. Drum shotgun, It was really OP last season, but originally it was bad. It was just go through all your shotgun ammo, which you couldn't find enough for the gun, and it didn't do much damage. You'd rather use attack or combat. Airstrike grenades, yeah, they're pretty cool. Dude, I guess I yeah, they're cool, I guess. That's what I really have to say to them. And the legendary and epic tactical shotgun rider, which was a very cool one. I do love my epic and legendary attacks. And we also got the Storm Scout sniper, which, if you didn't know, actually had a glitch where if you hip fire it, it would still be it had no bloom, essentially. It'd be like you were scoping it, just without the scope. It had 100% accuracy, obviously not including bullet drop. But that was very interesting. I didn't actually know that until the other day. It was only like that for about an hour or something, so bet you didn't know that. I've been going through all of this and I haven't even put Season 8 on the tier list. I thought I did because I knew where I was putting it, and it's going... Well, yeah, you know, I'd say here. Sorry about that. Map changes, Neo Tilted, looked sick, but people didn't really like it as much as Tilted. I mean, I was never a fan of Tilted Towers. I know, big shocker, but I just don't like the land where there's so many people. Not a big fan of Tilted Towers. Neo Tilted looks cool, and I think I landed there more than I landed Tilted, so that's always a plus. And we got Mega Mall, which was mine and Brock's drops. Well, I'm pretty sure this is Brock's first season as well. Mega Mall, I really like Mega Mall. Pressure Plant, this is mid. I mean, the Volcano was cooler, but the Pressure Plant was technically better. And although not an actual map change, we did get hotspots where you'd have like the drones, so the name of the POI on the map would be yellow, and there'd be like little drones floating in the air. You could shoot them down and all of that. Seasonal events, we got Summer, which was the 14 Days of Summer event, which had free rewards, item shop skins, and a new weapon unvault every day, as well as new LTM every day, which I wish they did that during some of these days. We don't get any LTMs anymore, it's boring. Anyway, get back to that later. We also had giant beach balls on the map. Just thought that was cool, just worth a mention. As well as a giant rubber duck with 1,000,000 health. Remember the ice cream van in Dusty Desert that had 100,000 health, and if you broke it, you got a guaranteed chest? Yeah, 100,000 health is like a lot to break for a single chest, but this 1,000,000 health duck, you broke it and you got nothing. It was just funny. We also had the birthday event towards the end of the season, which brought back the birthday cakes and free rewards. Everybody loves a birthday event in Fortnite. The crossovers, we actually had some pretty interesting ones this season. We had John Wick, which had item shop skins, the Wick's Bounty limited time mode, and the Continental was actually in Tilted, which was very cool. And in the Wick's Bounty mode, if you went into the Continental, you wouldn't be able to shoot, which is like the films, you can't do your business in the Continental. Very cool. We also got Stranger Things collab, which I feel like a lot of people forget about. We've got Hopper and the Demogorgon in the item shop. In Mega Mall, we got Scoops Ahoy, which had ice cream consumables, which I don't even think came back till this season, which is wild. We also had upside down portals, which worked like the rifts, like teleporters did in the bottom of Wailing Woods. Another one that's worth mentioning, I guess, was Nike. There was Nike shoe collab, which had essentially Subway Surfers creative mode, which had challenges for the skateboard back bling, which I wish I did more of. I hated the mode, but it's such a cool back bling, and I wish I got more styles for it. And we also got skins in the shop. The build up to this event was quite a cool one, actually. Went on quite a lot this season. The monster breaks out of Polar Peak, which literally destroyed it. The castle was gone, and it was just like a big hole kind of thing, I guess, in the mountain. Footprints would appear around the map. Crushed one of the buildings in Pleasant, I believe. And then you could also, every once in a while, I think it's quite rare, but you could see like Polar Peak swimming, like on the back of the monster, swimming around the island on the outside of the map. And then we also had the mech being built over at Pressure Plant. And the event itself was the final showdown, the monster versus mech. We can see the 0 point being released during this event. It also gets cracked, which leads us straight into Season X. And this was a lot of people's favourite event, and up until the last couple of events I was always quite goofy and weird for Fortnite. Didn't seem like it really fit it, but now if you look at events in Fortnite, it does. Again, not really one of my favourite. There's something about it. It was a sick event, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't feel like a Fortnite event. I don't know what it is. And of course the build up to the next season was the 0 point slowly cracking and becoming more unstable. And yeah, that was Season 9. I'm going to rank it. It's pretty good again. Pretty good. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to put it here. It's really top heavy in God and pretty good. It's just, Chapter 1 is just something else, man. I swear to God. I can't not. Season X, August 20th, 2019. Gameplay changes was the mechs, which was a massive yikes. I hated mechs. And also in certain regions, this is where they started to introduce skill-based matchmaking, which was tough on a lot of people. I didn't notice it, I was a noob anyway. Either way, I was gonna die. The Battle Pass, one of my favourites, but it does kind of cheat in the fact that they are just reskins of old Battle Pass skins. They took the most iconic Battle Pass skins from the first 6 seasons and made them better, essentially, which led to a good Battle Pass, but also kind of cheap in a way. Also a really good Battle Pass. Loot pool, main things here was the auto sniper, which nobody really liked at all. The DMR now is much better than it, in my opinion. Junk rifts are fun. Love junk rifts. Zapper trap was rubbish. It wasn't even in your trap slot. You had it as like an item and you'd throw it up and it'd take like a second before zapping. So you'd be able to just walk away from it. It was rubbish. And of course, mechs. I don't like mechs. At least in Season X, they weren't as bad when they returned. The map at first was really kind of underwhelming in my opinion. I didn't hear anybody say it was, but in my opinion it kind of was. We got Dusty Depot back, and that was it. Well, Dusty Depot and like the little factory. That's all we got. And in my opinion, I love Dusty Depot way more than... Dusty Divot way more than Dusty Depot. I thought it was way cooler POI, like a meteor crater, come on, or like a shed. And for some reason everybody loved the shed more. Like, what? And it didn't even have much chests. Obviously, the meteor floating above the map looked sick, don't get me wrong. That was cool, but it's kind of underwhelming at the time. But then, we got weekly map updates. And not like your regular weekly map updates. It was weekly, you get a new POI, essentially. Pretty much, like nearly. So we got Tilted Town. Love Tilted Town. No breaking, no building. Retail Row Return. There was Husks there, which was the special, because there's like a special thing for each Rift Zone POI. They were called Rift Zones, I forgot about that. Husks, there was a lot of Husks for it, and they did have to reduce it a week later. But again, I like the Husks. Some people don't, so they never went there. We got the football stadium was blown up and had glitch consumables. That was pretty underwhelming because it was just a whole... Got Pandora, which we'll come back to, which was a collab. Kevin Island returned. Moisty Palms, which I wasn't a fan of. You crouch, you turn into a prop. That was really annoying. Greasy Grove, even more annoying. We had taco time every minute or whatever it was, and it lasted an hour. Starry Suburbs, really cool actually. Stars fall from the sky and you get really good loot. And there's also the shortest lived POI ever. I would love for them to bring that back. And also Gotham City, Batman, we'll come back to that when it comes to crossovers. No seasonal events this season that are worth noting, but we do have some good crossovers. This is the start of Fortnite, having proper big crossovers, in my opinion. First one being Batman. We had Gotham City, skins in the shop, and the Grappler and the Batarangs. And then we also had Borderlands, which had the Pandora POI, which was free shield essentially. Oh, the Batman POI was cool because you just jump off things and redeploy, kind of like it would have in Season 6. Then Borderlands, yeah, we got Pandora and item shop skins, very cool. And the most forgotten collab of all time, It. Remember the It collab Fortnite had? Because I bet you didn't. Pretty much red balloons, because this was coming in, this was late in the season, coming into towards Halloween time. We had red balloons appear above all of the drains on the map. You think, oh well, that's probably just the red balloons, it's maybe just a reference, but you would break them and it did the Pennywise laugh. And I assume it must have been scrapped because one day they were just removed and it was never mentioned again. Weird. And the build up to the event was the rocket being rebuilt at Dusty instead of the Heroes base, and the countdown appearing, of course. As well as that, 0 Point was becoming more unstable, and we also had challenges with the first ever voice acting in Fortnite from the Scientist, who, fun fact, actually has a different voice actor now compared to what he did in Season X. But yeah, we were having what the 7 of us are trying to attempt is very risky, but all of that. Then the event, probably my favourite ever event, and I missed it. I missed the end event. the biggest event in Fortnite history. I missed it. First time we saw all of the 7. There were 7 rockets, which signified each member of the 7, obviously. It's a callback to the first ever live event, which is really cool, definitely fitting with the season. The event looked sick. I miss when events all took place on the map. We seem to get taken away from the map in every live event now. I like seeing the map change and be destroyed ready for the next season. That was cool. That was what I loved about live events. And obviously, the build up to Chapter 2 Season 1 was the black hole, which was insane. Nobody knew it was going to happen. Everybody was freaking out. Everyone thought it was going to go straight into Chapter 2 after, which obviously didn't happen. But people freaking out about the black hole. I remember hearing a thing online where there was like a birthday party when they all watched the event and then the black hole happened and everyone cried. A lot of parents got angry thinking all the V-Bucks were like gone forever. It was something else, the black hole was. It was like that for 3 days. Epic Games has made all of their social medias just black with nothing else. That was it. Fortnite was deleted. So many people hate this season. I know Brock's watching this and he despised this season. I just love Season X too much, man. I really do. But thinking about actual gameplay wise, it would be in pretty good or god. But it's going in mid. I know that's not... People would put it down here, but it's going in mid. Simply because all the POIs had these like effects on them, so if you wanted to play like a normal game, it was really awkward to just choose a spot to land, if you know what I mean. It was quite awkward. And the mechs, man. I hated mechs. You couldn't do anything against them. It was like 50 damage per rocket. It would shoot 10 rockets, and they would destroy your build. It was dumb. It was broken. But yeah, here is my list of Chapter 1. All in the top half, pretty much. I think it's pretty good ranking. But yeah, there is Chapter 1. I've been recording for an hour and 3 minutes, as you could probably tell by the length of the video, probably not being much shorter than it, and my voice is killing me. And it's also really hot in here because we are coming off the end of a heat wave. So I'm just going to pause it here, and I'll be back I'll be back later on to record Chapter 2. Now, this was originally meant to be one video, and I did pretty much record it all in one go. But I've decided to split it into 2 because the recording was over 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So this is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 where I do chapters 2 and 3. This editing has been corrupted once. After 3 days of editing, got corrupted, I had to start all over again. Epic, so sorry it took so long. Link will be in the description and on the end screen for part 2 once it is out. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.